When I tell y'all it's been a day, I'm not even exaggerating. So, welcome back. I hope everybody's having a good, what's today? Thursday, a good Thursday. Mine has been very interesting so far, to say the least. Now, y'all know when I was on here talking to y'all yesterday, I was having some computer issues, and I kept looking over at my screen trying to see what was going on. Well, those issues persisted after I got off the stream, and then this morning, when I got ready to get started, it commenced to crash my work computer. Decided it was just gonna crash. Like I ain't doing nothing. So yeah. So I got a chance to do one of my favorite things in the world to do, which I'm being very sarcastic, which is call IT and be on the phone with them for 2 hours, which is why I'm running late because um I meant to do this live before I started working, but then once I realized I wasn't gonna be able to start working, everything had to shift. But like I was saying yesterday, technology is wonderful when it works, but when it don't work, it's a pain in the butt. And then the IT people never know what you're talking about. So I can call them, and the first thing I do is explain, because my job is located in North Carolina. I explain that I'm a remote employee, that I'm not in North Carolina. Next thing they ask, what office are you at? I'm a remote employee. I don't even live in the state. So she's like, okay. So she asked, what's going on? I said, you want the long story or the short story? Short story is my computer ain't working. It ain't doing nothing. So, that's when I described what was going on. She's like, sound like it crashed. And I'm like, okay, so what should I do? So she's telling me they should be able to ship out overnight a new computer, and it'll either get here tomorrow afternoon, or it could possibly be Monday. And that would be all fine and good if I had the type of job where, I don't really have nothing to do, but I work by deadlines. And today I have, a pretty decent sized amount of work to get done before midnight. So once we get done with this, yeah, I'm gonna be on it probably for the rest of the evening. So anyway, she gets me set up to work on my personal computer, but of course I can't access everything I need to access. That would be too much like right. So I was like, okay, I'll make it work with what I got. And so she done told me they're gonna be shipping the computer out. I get a call from somebody else in her department, which I guess they don't talk to each other. That would be too much like right too. I get a call from somebody else in her department telling me, well, Miss King, we're gonna need for you to reach out to your administrative assistant or whatever, and have them to set up a FedEx shipment where you um create the thing. And when she said you are going to have to, my mind cut off, and I ain't listening to nothing else she's saying, because later I don't do all that. I let her finish talking, and I said, ma'am, I don't have anything to do with shipping. I said, now I just got this computer, which was supposed to be brand new back in December. Only thing y'all did was text me and told me to be on the lookout for the computer. That's how I operate. I don't have an administrative assistant. I'm a peon. I said, what you probably need to do is speak to my director. She handles all of that type of stuff. I'm like, I have no power. Only thing I have the power to do is work. So she's still telling me that, well, I'm just letting you know that until you do this, and I had to cut off again, ma'am. I personally can't do that. I don't have the authority to do that. I said, well, how about this? What you said to me right now, put it in an email, send it to my director, and CC me. That way, everything, because she wanted me, she like, well, if you could tell I'm not telling nobody nothing, because I might get it wrong. It's gonna sound better coming from you anyway because this is your department. Um, I said, well, everything you're saying, type it out, put it in a email, send it to her, and CC me. Or if it would help, send it to me, and I will forward it to her. But what I'm telling you is, you telling me to do it is not gonna make it happen. So it's pointless to even continue telling me because I can't do what you want me to do. So, in situations like that, I have to practice my I give a damn voice because sometimes that voice don't come out. I'm very matter of fact when I speak, and it's not me trying to be ugly, but that's the only way I know how to speak. I'm not your sugarcoater. I'm not sugarcoating shit. Now I can be politically correct, but it's still gonna sound like sometimes it don't come off right. But and I told her, I said, I'm not trying to be whatever. I'm just letting you know if you're counting on anything to happen based on me, ain't nothing gonna move. It's not gonna happen. So I think we finally understood each other. And then my boss turns around and called me. She was actually off today, but I texted her and let her know what was going on. And so she called me back, and I was explaining to her what happened. I said, I just got a call back from another lady who was telling me that I need to do a slip and a blah blah FedEx this, and I said, I told her that that's not my that's above my pay grade. I can't make no decisions like that. So she was like, you did right. I mean, technically they're supposed to just ship you a computer. I said, that's what I thought too. But apparently she didn't get the memo. But anyway, yeah, when we get done with this live, I will be that. But the only drawback to doing this on my personal computer, I don't really feel comfortable with it, even though I have all of the what do you call it, protection and guards against which y'all know what I'm talking about. The whatever you call the protection suite you get to protect your computer from virus, antivirus and all this. I got all that stuff, but it still feels kind of, hey, abuse of you, how you doing? I'm rambling today. I'm always rambling. I'm rambling today about some work stuff that got turned around. Yes, the antivirus. I have that on my personal computer, but because the work I do is such highly sensitive work, I still have a level of uncomfortability with doing it on my desktop. And then the other thing is on my work computer, I got dual screens. On this one, I'm going to be toggling back and forth, and I have to have about 4 or 5 screens up at a time. So it's already a task doing it on 2. So doing it on 1, but it is what it is. So they give you lemon, you make lemonade. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to break them in. How when you first get hair or wig, it be feeling too new. I like it when it gets to a point where it look kind of old and like it falls into place. Right now, it still got that new feeling to it, but I like that. I bought it probably about a couple of months ago. I tell my daughter all the time, go pick one of your sisters out the closet and tell me which one I'm gonna be today. Cause I ordered the little styrofoam heads and I got about 10, 12 wigs in there that I go through. It depends on how I feel. I call them hair heads. Like which hair head I'm gonna put on today. But this is my latest one. I try to change it up a bit. But sometimes, I stick with what I'm comfortable with and just go. But thank you for the compliment on the hair. Hi Marlene. The Marlene Sanders Show. It's good to see you. I enjoyed hanging out with you and Miss Betty yesterday over on was it Life with Marlene? I think it was Life with Marlene. I had a good time with y'all yesterday. Miss Betty seems like she's a mess. Like she just, I enjoyed her. The way she talked, she reminded me like of a relative. Somebody that could be a relative or something. So I did sub to her channel yesterday. And y'all check Marlene out. It's Marlene's on the show. She has Life with Marlene, Just Relaxed, a couple of other channels. So Marlene has some. I don't know what my StreamYard is acting a butt. because I wanted to highlight the you and Miss View, since both of y'all are content creators, so people can check y'all out. But my I guess because she done helped me put all this mess on my personal computer, it done slowed it up or something, because I hit the refresh button, and over here on StreamYard, it's still stuck on 2 minutes and 50. It's saying I'm live at 2 minutes and 56 seconds, where over here it's saying 10 minutes. So I guess it just froze up. But y'all check out a viewer's view. She has a channel where she does the coloring, and I've been checking her out. The lady that you had on the other night, that, what was her name? Kay, I can't think of. But I signed up to her page too, because she was showing, y'all were talking about drawing the different faces and all that type of stuff. I like to draw. I'm not by any means any type of gifted drawer, but I do like, to draw and stuff like that. So when I saw that y'all were talking about ways to, how you learn how to do the eyes, because I like doing portraits of faces, but certain areas I get stuck on too. So when she said that she does that on her channel, I went ahead and subbed to her. And then she said, I'm only 9 from my next goal, 600. Okay. All right, Marlene. So yeah, Mary, yes. Mary, I subbed to her channel because I like drawing. I'm one of those people, I feel like I'm like, how I still haven't found that one thing. How they say God gives everybody a gift, something that you can do that just what I ain't found what my gift is yet. I'm like okay at everything. So I'm better at some stuff than others, but like I don't have that one. Like I took piano lessons for 3 years. I tell people all the time, I took lessons for 3 years. I can play a couple of things, but it became evident early in piano that I wasn't gonna be no Stevie Wonder or no Alicia Keys or nothing like that. So once I figured out I didn't have the natural gift, I worked at it. I learned my notes, my FACE and my EGDB, all that stuff. I learned it, but I didn't have that whatever that a natural musician has. Then sports was already a no. I wasn't good at nothing. Volleyball, basketball, nothing. Where I didn't have that talent. Singing, I like to sing. I've been in several choirs, but I'm not going to walk away with nobody's Grammy. So I'm very well aware that that's not me either. Like I said, drawing and stuff, I like doing it, but I'm no Picasso. I don't think I'll be winning any art contest, but I can do enough that somebody's like, oh, you drew that? And I can be like, yeah. So, I had found that one thing. Doing hair, that's not me either. I can manage. When I did wear perms, I could put my own perm in, but and I could, do a little something, but that's not my gift either. So I'm still trying to figure out what my gift is. It's out there somewhere. I just got to find. Marlene says you have to find what brings you joy and do that. Yeah, I'm still looking for that, Marlene. I have not found it. And Marlene says I'm thinking I can click on the thing on the phone. Shoot. Okay, so this is Marlene Saunders. Y'all want to check out her show. This is A View is a View. She's the one that does the coloring and all of that jazz. And who else we got on here? Hey, Tanisha. There's my bestie, Tanisha from the Good Times Click from college. I was talking to her yesterday, and I was telling her, I know my stories and stuff probably be boring to y'all, but I appreciate y'all listening and giving me the click and the view. Because, it reminds me, please like, share, subscribe if you're not subscribed. But yeah, I was telling her they probably be boring to y'all because most of the stories include y'all. And she was like, well, you need to start talking more about you. Tell some good stories about you. I ain't got no good stories that don't include other people. Shoot. So you're gonna have to deal with me throwing y'all in every now and then, because usually my shenanigans are when I'm with other people. And then I have the rule. Uh, I have a running rule that I don't tell stories where I come out looking bad. So that cut off a whole bunch of stories right there. Uh, Tanisha says, me too. No idea what my niche is. Yeah, it's like I'm just okay at everything. I don't feel like I have anything where I'm just like, oh, if you want, you need to go to Melissa. She can do that. Even with cooking, I can cook, but I ain't no, you know, I can cook. I ain't gonna say I'm burning up the kitchen and blah 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 blah. I'm not a bad cook. I'm not a great cook. And part of that is I don't eat a lot. My daughter don't eat a lot. There's no need for me to do a whole lot of cooking. We can survive off sandwiches, stuff like that. So I don't have to do a big Sunday dinner, and all that stuff. And then too, my mom is still living, so whenever it is time for stuff like that, we go to my parents' house. So yeah, I know how, but it's not a passion. Um, let's see. My niche is encouraging and motivating others to bring. But yeah, I can see that for you, Marlene, because you have that type of spirit. Like when I listen to you, it's always positive. I try to stay. I stay pretty positive, but I am also very much a realist. So I don't sugarcoat a lot of stuff. And even with my daughter, when I'm trying to tell her stuff, sometimes it can be very raw because uh Tanisha said, I know one, but I'm gonna stay quiet. Girl, hush. That's what you do. You stay quiet. Uh like I said, I try not to tell the stories where I come out looking bad. And it was a bunch of them. But yeah, Marlene, you're good with that. I feel like I'm a positive person, but I'm gonna always keep it real. So my thing is more I'm not that yeah, I can do it, but that ain't my claim to fame either. I gotta figure out what my claim to fame is. Maybe I ain't meant to be famous, but anyway, I am thankful that the Lord blessed me to be good, at least good at a lot of different things, so that I haven't had to not have anything to fall back on. Uh, I used to could say I have a great memory, because I've always been good at remembering numbers, dates. I like sort of like a photographic type memory. But now that I'm getting older, that ain't what it used to be either. Because it's so funny. I don't know why I was thinking about this morning. I'm gonna share this. I try not to talk about my married years. I was married for how long was I married? 7 years? Hell, I don't know. I got married 6 years. I was married, but we only we lived together for 3 because we got married when I was down in South Florida, and then when the jig was up, I packed my grip and headed back to Alabama. So the last 3 years I spent back here, but it was funny because I was thinking about, and I don't know why this even came to me. But I was thinking about, my memory has always been real good. I ain't one you want to lie to, because like, especially with my husband, we having a conversation. I'm like a tape recorder. I'm recording it in my mind. So me and him watching the movie together, and it was the movie with Beyonce and Idris Elba. It was one Saturday, and it was on. It was to the point at that time it had made it TV. It wasn't in the theater no more. And so he gonna tell me, remember when we seen this already? Remember? I ain't never seen this movie a day in my life. Uh, who you went and saw this movie with? That you you think it was me? Because it definitely came out while we were married. So who you went to see? He ever said, because he gonna try to his best to convince me that I had seen this movie with him. No, sir. I ain't never seen this movie. I don't even know how it began and nothing. And he go, yeah, we did, because I'm like, stop talking because you lying. And it just turned into, I know he even started that conversation because For the next 90 minutes while we was watching that movie, it was, where did you go see this movie at? When did you go see it? And who was it that you thought was you was remembering me? Because I don't see you and no fellas going to see this type of movie together, where Idris Elba is being stalked by a crazy white lady and Beyonce in it. That ain't nothing you go see with your boys. So, long story short, and he still, he was a terrible liar. But I'm not really the one you want to lie to because I remember stuff. So I used to think that was part of my memory, but it's fading. But you know what kills me about even with the memory fading, what kills me about that is now I'll forget some important stuff, but in my mind I still remember some nonsense that I don't need to know from however long ago it was. I can remember just like that, some bull crap that I should not even have in my head, but ask me something important, and I'm like, yeah, that's how I'm getting it. So I always used to say, I wish your brain was like a computer where when your hard drive get too full, you can go in and clean out the junk and put more storage space in there. Because there's so much junk that I could get out of there and make room for new stuff, and I'd be sharp as a tack. But yeah, unfortunately, you can't do that. Oh, B said she joined Marlene's pack and she went and sub to Marlene. Oh, that's great. I like the fact that, and I do that too. I like the fact that we can network when we're in these chats and stuff, and you meet people that you may have something in common with, and that's how I stood to a lot of people. I was in the chat and I saw conversations and stuff about the channel, and then I go check the channel out myself. So yeah, I remember the foolish and forget what girl. That's me. That is me. I will remember some crap I don't need to remember, uh like what somebody had on that looked terrible at a wedding or something in 1982. Something like that. I can remember exactly what the outfit was, all the way down to the wedge heel shoes and the coffee color stockings. But ask me something like I don't know, something important, and I'll be sitting there scratching my head. And I hate when people when I'm trying to think of something and it's right there. It's like I know it is, and then you know when it's gonna come to me at 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm laying in bed, and it's gonna be like, oh, that's what I was trying to think of. Because there's two actors that I always get confused. Not that they look anything alike, but because they're both I think they're both Italian. It's Al De Niro, Robert De Niro, and Al Pacino, I think. No, is it Al Pacino? See, but before we even get into it, that's what I'm talking about. Here is Robert De Niro, and who is the Italian actor that's married to the black lady? He was in a bunch of stuff. He was in The Godfather. He was in a bunch of stuff. Is it Al Pacino? Yeah, that conversation right there, that there would happen to me, and I'd be on there for 4-5 hours trying to figure out what that man's name is and who I'm talking about. So stuff like that drives me crazy, and I just can't get past it. But anyway, I really didn't have anything major going on except for all that mishap with my computer this morning. I was trying to think of a good story to share. That would tie in with what was going on today, but I really don't have anything that ties in with computer problems. You always gonna have them, and they always suck. But I will say, what was I talking about yesterday? Seems like it was something I was talking about yesterday that I said I was gonna continue on to today. I know what it was. I do have a story for y'all. I was gonna tell y'all a story about and it's a good thing she in the chat. I remember talking to y'all, I think a week before last, and I was telling you about my good friend, my UAB clique friend, Tanisha. She saved my life. Robert, I thought it's the other. Tanisha said Robert De Niro was, but the other man must be married to a black lady too. Then what's the other man's name? Is it Al Pacino? I don't know. Yeah, let me get out there because I get stuff on it. Uh, I will get sidetracked and get stuck on it. So Tanisha, she has saved my life a couple of different times. And the first time was when we was in school, and she let me know what we was going to school for because I was under a very miscommunication of what our major was doing. The next time was when I had hopped my tail up, and let me preface this by saying I'm a very impulsive person. Hell, she not never been married. Are you sure? Well, I guess you probably looked it up, sir. Okay. Which one do Jay Z say he lived near in Tribeca? Robert De Niro? It's De Niro. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. Yeah, because I get sidetracked. But she said Pacino never been married. So, but I know both of the guys are Italian. Both of them were in The Godfather. One played as a young whoever in one of the Godfathers, and the other one played the main role. You thought of me? All this shit. Anyway, so yeah, Tanisha saved me when I was I'm an impulsive person sometimes. I'm impulsive, but I'm not impulsive. Like I don't mind taking a chance and trying something or doing something, but it's not like I'm just gonna up and do it. I done already back and forth and worried myself to death and everybody around me about it before I made my final decision. But in the end, I don't mind making a change. So, I think I told y'all I lived in Atlanta for a while, and I was living with Tanisha then. And that job that I moved there for didn't quite work out. And I was able to call my old job back at UAB. And because, but while being in contact with the employees there, I knew that they hadn't filled the position. It had been a year. And so I called my boss and I was like, can I have my job back? And he was like, sure, yeah, come on back. So I went back and I stayed for another 4 years. And then my other UAB Good Times Click bestie, Stephanie, who is usually here, she might be listening, but she was living at this point in Wilmington, North Carolina, and she told me about a job opportunity out there. We all went to school for the same thing. We just veered off into different areas of it. So when she told me about the job, I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling kind of stuck where I am because I had been at UAB for like 4 years at that point. I wasn't, I had reached as high as I could go. I was like the supervisor in that position, and I was feeling kind of stuck. And something else I told y'all is I never stay on the job longer than 3, maybe 4 years, and I'm ready to go on and do something else. So when she told me about the opportunity, I was like, I wouldn't, at the time I'm in Alabama, so I'm like, I wouldn't mind moving. And keep in mind, y'all, I'm single, no kids. I can do what I want to do. So when I flew out to interview for the position, because not only she was there, but another girl that we went to school with was also out there. That Latanya was the one who told Stephanie about the job, and both of them were doing the same thing in the field. It's in clinical research. So then they told me about another opportunity, but it wasn't doing what they do. But so I flew out. I interview went well. The director or the manager, whoever liked me. And, I had the fact that I knew Latanya and I knew Stephanie. So they came back, made an offer. A couple of weeks later, I decided I'm going for it. I'm moving. I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna try this again. Cause, the first time Atlanta didn't work, but let's try it again. I scared to try again. So I turned in my notice. They didn't have going away party for me, and everybody wishing me the best. And my parents was like, my mom was like, "You sure you want to do that?" Because she, how mamas are. They don't never really want you to move away. And my daddy, I was surprised at him because he didn't respond at all. When I told him, he didn't say nothing, absolutely nothing. So when it came time for me to actually move, I asked him. I said, "You've been awful quiet. Usually you very opinionated about stuff." And you ain't saying nothing about me moving. He said, that's because I was hoping you would change your mind. He was like, but I know I should have known better. So Marlene says, I get sick of a job after a year. Yes, Marlene, I just now I'm gonna say, now that I've gotten older, I'm looking more at like this current job I'm at. I've been here since 2017. That's the longest I've ever stayed on the job. So I'm trying to be more, you know, stable and not move around so much. You know, this job, the other reason I'm staying with this job is because they have worked with me during COVID when I had to do homeschooling, and they're very flexible. And my boss truly is good to work for. And you know, when you get older, you start feeling like, well, money is not always the driving force. Sometimes it's peace of mind. Because there's been plenty of times that I done went for the money, which is what I'm about to say about this story right here. Because out at UAB, I was making an okay salary for a supervisor, but I wasn't finna go. I wasn't about to be able to buy no $1 million home with the income I was making. And I'm like, I knew that I should be further along or making more money and stuff. So I'm like, you know, and then every time I tried to transfer into a different position, you know, it's like when you're the way things are set up there, if you were trying to do an internal transfer, they were gonna reach out to your supervisor or your manager. And I think a lot of times with that, they looking at, well, if she leaves, I gotta find somebody to replace her. Because it never went anywhere. When they reached out to him, he didn't say anything bad, but it's like he didn't want me to leave internally. So when that opportunity came up, I turned in my notice. It was in like October 2004. So I'm ready for this to start this new adventure. Um, Packed up everything. The company, you know, this was a good job. The company didn't pay to move me. I didn't have to do anything but, you know, put stickers on what I wanted to go, and they were gonna take it. But the problem was, um, when I got ready to move, the apartment, I was trying to get in an apartment where my girlfriend Stephanie was living, and there were some empty units over there. They were townhomes. So the problem was it wasn't going to be ready when I got there to start the job. It was going to be another, I'm gonna say 3 or 4 weeks before the unit would be ready. So which that still wasn't a big deal because I knew I could stay with Stephanie, and the only thing was I had to put all of my stuff in storage instead of being able to put in my new apartment. And I still was okay with that. I was like, it'll be storage for a month. It's not a big deal. So packed up everything, moved, and when I tell y'all, I'm sharing a lot because a lot of people to this day, including my mom, does not know this full story. Because like I said, I don't like to tell stories where I come out looking bad. And it's not, I don't, yeah, I look, to me, I look bad. But anyway, so I get up there, start the job. Okay, first mishap that happens when I start this job. The lady that was in charge and was the manager that interviewed me and hired me, when I interviewed, was gone. She left. Between that time and me starting this job, there was a new person in charge. That new person didn't know anything about me. So I'm willing to say that had she interviewed me, she probably wouldn't have chosen me. She was fairly new. Second thing, she was fairly new to her position. So she's still learning her position and everything. So bringing a rookie in like myself, and you don't know your job, she looking at that like, you know, but still, you know, she welcomed me and you know, set me up with the guy whose place I was taking. He was training me because he was about to do a different position. So I worked with him for, you know, the first couple of weeks. And then before I moved, I told him, you know, I needed to be off at a certain point because I had booked a vacation to go over to Jamaica. And I wanted to get that settled before I started the job because that was already paid for. And so they said fine. They agreed to that. So I worked 2 weeks and trained with the guy. Then I had a week where I was off because I went out of the country. And then when I came back, that was like my fourth week. Well, then when I came back that week, the apartment was ready. So I went ahead and signed my lease. I'm feeling good, but like I'm at the happiest point in the world. And you know, when I was over in Jamaica, I was canoodling. because I went back over there to see my ex-husband. At that time, he wasn't my husband yet. And so, feeling good because I went over there and saw him. And, you know, 2004, I turned 30 that year. So that was also the year that I had my weight loss surgery. So I was looking good, new place, you know, got my townhouse, everything going good. You couldn't tell me nothing. Man, I came back that fourth week and it was a Friday. And I'm sitting in the office and I'm working, and they, you know, I done did all of my prep work, and they done signed off on a lot of stuff because I was ready. And they even had sent me up um to Raleigh because there was the we had our facility in Wilmington, and they also had one in Austin, Texas, and RTP, which is Research Triangle Park. So that's where Raleigh was. So I went up to Raleigh, worked with some people up there. I'm feeling good. I'm like, everything is working. Man, that Friday, they called me and asked me to come to HR. And I'm sitting there thinking, because, you know, I done been in management for a while. Ain't nothing never good come out of being called to HR. But I was sitting there thinking, I haven't done anything wrong. What, I mean, what could it possibly be? So I walk around HR and I see my manager or director, whatever her position was, sitting there, and I see the HR rep, and I come in and they're like, you know, how do you feel everything is going? I said, I think everything's going pretty good. So that's when they go on and tell me, well, you haven't done anything wrong, but at this point, we feel like this is not a good fit. Y'all see my face? I'm sitting there like, what that mean? Well, we just don't think for that position that you're gonna be a good fit. I was like, well, what did I do? Is there something I did wrong? Am I not catching on at a rate that you expected? What are your concerns? Let's talk. You know, let's talk about your concerns and let's see how we can resolve and get past this. It wasn't no resolving and getting past. They mind was made up. That was my last day. And I'm sitting there completely flabbergasted. I mean, when I say blown away, I'm sitting there like, y'all playing. I said, and so I started going back. I was like, I came this week. I met with so and so. I've been working with Jeff, and he been signing off on this and the other. I've done all of my whatever they call them things you have to do when you first start the job, all them little modules and stuff. I was like, I'm on time with my modules and everything. I done, and this and the other. Plead my case. They was like, we just don't think it's a good fit. Like, you gonna tell me something else. I need to hear something better than that. That is not a good fit because that ain't working for me. So I sat there for a minute and I said, well, y'all ain't got nothing else I can fit in. It's all right. Like, I went to start trying on clothes. Like, you ain't got it in a size 10. What you got back there in a size 12? I'll take it. So they like, we don't at this time we don't have anything else. I'm thinking y'all don't need no secretary, no cafeteria worker, no janitor, nothing. Y'all don't realize I have left my entire it wasn't the most glamorous life, but a very stable life in Alabama, where I had a position that I had been in for 4 years, and if nothing else, my job was secure. I might not have been rising like I want to, but I had a job. Y'all let me move all the way out here. Had you told me this a week, 2 weeks ago, I would not even sign that lease that I just signed for this damn townhouse. I got a condo of $500 a month, and it wasn't because I had a fancy car. It was because my credit was bad, and they charged me way more than it was worth. But my dummy self wanted the car and put myself out there, and I got it. And I'm like, I did all these and it's not a good fit, it ain't gonna work. So, I mean, there was nothing else to say. They had made their mind up. They asked for their car key back. They done asked me, did I need somebody to go over with me to help me pack up my desk? And I was like, no. I just have, because Stephanie was working out too. I was like, I'll just give it to Stephanie. She'll bring it. I don't want to go back over there now. Because everybody know what it means when security walks back in there with you and you got a box. They done fired your ass. So I'm like, I'm not going to add that humiliation to this. So I went over to Stephanie's building and I had before I had a car key so I could just come on in. But this time I had to do like I was a guest and I buzzed. And I was like, I'm downstairs. Can you come down? Because they just fired me. She was like, what? Are you serious? I was like, I ain't playing at all. So we talked about it. It wasn't nothing I could do. So at this point, I'm still staying with her because I didn't sign my lease, but I hadn't getting my stuff out of storage to move in yet to a new apartment where I ain't got no job. So I'm just like, I was devastated. I sat there and Steph is a good friend because she let me sit there on her couch for 3 days. This happened on Friday. I sat there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and cried off and on for 3 days about this situation. And she was just like, I'm so sorry. But, I mean, she was a friend. She was right there. But I'm just sitting there like, so then Monday rolls around, and the real reality that I don't have a job clicked and set in, right? So I was like, well, you got to figure something out. So I pulled out the phone book. First, I looked up all the hospitals in the area. That wasn't hard because one but one. And then I looked up the temp. It was like 2 or 3 different temp agencies. Wilmington is not a really big city, it's like a beach or coast on the coast. So it's not like I always said before. It's a college town because a lot of people went out there attended UNCW, which is University of North Carolina Wilmington, and then it's a town for older people. Hey, baby. Thank you. School out already. Yeah, and it was a town for like older people who were retiring, but like if you're in that middle area, it wasn't a lot going on. And so they had a community hospital there. It wasn't very big, but my background is in healthcare, so I went and applied there. I couldn't even get hired on as a damn what was it? What they call it? Not administrative assistant, but the people who do like the secretarial work on the floor. You'll have your nurses and stuff, whatever you call them. I applied for that job and they called me. I'm like, are you serious? Did you see my resume? But then people were like, they probably knew you was, based on your resume that you weren't gonna be there long. That this was just something you were doing and tied over and they didn't want. That's probably why they didn't hire you. I was like, I don't care what that reason was. I need a job. So I went to those temp service. And I applied for everything that they had that I had the ability. Unit clerk. Yep, that's what it was, Tanisha. I was trying to be a unit clerk. Because I'm like, the most you're doing with that is a lot of data entry. Anybody can do that. Y'all not going to hire me to do that. So they didn't hire me, but so I had called my dad and left him. No, I talked to him. And I was upset. And of course, I'm baby girl because I'm the only daughter, but I'm the oldest and whatever. And he's like, well, at that point, he's being very understanding about it because he know I'm like, And when I hit that, he can't be, I told you and you should have thought about it, So I was like, but I got a plan and this is what I'm gonna do. And he was like, well, why'd you come back home? I was like, I ain't coming back home. I was like, everybody been seeing me off and I'm supposed to be moving and getting this great job. I don't want to go back home because I ain't got no choice because I don't want to come back with my tail stuck between my legs. I ain't coming back home. So he was like, so what, you gonna sit up there and be broken homeless? And I was like, I'm gonna figure something out. So That was my conversation with him on Sunday. And then I told him, I said, look, don't tell mama. Because mama already be worried to death about everything. So I, to this day, she don't know I went up there and all that happened. She just know I changed jobs. So I didn't tell her about all of this because she'd have been down there pacing a hole in the floor. So, got out there Monday. By the end of the day, Monday, I had got a call because I had got a call from one of them temp services, and they told me I was gonna be doing. I didn't even care what the job was. They was like, you start Monday, and I think that job was paying $11 an hour. It was a huge pay cut, but it was a job. So I was like, I'll take it. And it was for a home health agency. And all I was really doing was entering, whenever back then, this was before everything was so electronic, because this was in 2004. And so when the nurses or healthcare providers or whoever was going out, they were still doing paper tickets, writing down their mileage or the starting and ending mileage and all of that stuff. So I was hired to enter those mileage slips in the computer. And you talking about somebody was over there tearing up their keyboard, putting that stuff. Like, I need this job. It wasn't an ideal job, but it was a job. But I still wasn't making what I needed. And I still was like keeping my eyes open, trying to see if something come up. So there was a logo. Well, the one thing I started off at Taco Bell. When I was in the 11th grade, 12th grade, my first job was at Taco Bell. I worked at Taco Bell all through college. And I told Stephanie, I said, push come to shove, as the old folks say in the country, I'm going to be right there slinging tacos and rolling burritos because I ain't forgot how to do it and I ain't too proud. So that was going either that was going to be my part-time job, or they had a grocery store called Harris Teeter. I loved Harris Teeter. It was like on the lines of Publix. And they were looking for somebody to work weekends. And I was going to be standing up there, paper or plastic. I ain't never too proud to say what I ain't going to do. So that job was hell, the job from hell, because the person I was working for, it wasn't that she didn't like me. She was cool with me at first, but then when she found out we both had similar degrees, but I had a higher certification than she had. So when she found that out, it's like she got funky with me, and she started just treating me like bad. And I'm just like, look, I'm just here to work. So I hated that job. I was finna be stacking up groceries on the weekend. And because time is getting away from me, because it's already been 48 minutes, I'm not gonna go into the whole story of the next part, but I'll say that for another day. But that was just my experience on how it pays to have a plan B. It pays to do your research, and it pays to have some money saved up too. Have what we teach now with my financial thing. Always have you an emergency fund, because if something happens and you all of a sudden end up without a job and you try to figure out what you're gonna do, it's not good to be in the situation I was in, because I ain't have no emergency fund. I ain't had no plan B. I ain't had nothing. This was gonna work, period, in my head. But I will say, once I got that job, my dad still teases me to this day, because I called him back at work and left a message on his voicemail. And he said he kept that voicemail for a long time, because when I talked to him, I was so pitiful on that Saturday or whatever day I talked to him. So Monday I called him. I was like, Daddy, I ain't coming home. I didn't got me a job. Bye. He was like, that's my baby. So yeah, I got that job from hell, and it held me over until I got into the next phase. And like I said, I ain't gonna go into that long story today. I'll say that story for next time. But that is my story where I come out looking bad, sort of, because I took a chance, left a stable job, moved from Alabama to North Carolina for a job that I was not completely familiar with, but I had all capabilities of doing that job. They just didn't give me a chance. And that was when I learned that if you live in an at-will state, it don't matter. Because, of course, I reached out to who is it that you reach out to when it's stuff like that? I see, know what I'm talking about. When if it's something I need to remember, I can't remember. But shoot, I forgot what the organization is called. But I reached out to them, and I reached out to a couple of attorneys to see if I had a case because what had happened. And unfortunately, because you living in this is an at will state, they can let you go at any time for any reason. So I'm like, I need to get a list of states that are not at will states because so far every state I done worked in has been an at will state. So where these will states at? But yeah, and that's when I also learned the term not a good fit. When I hear that now, I cringe because I'm like, what you mean it's not a good fit? I don't care what it is. It's not a good fit. It's not an acceptable answer to tell somebody for why they had a job yesterday and they don't have one today. But God is good. I persevered through that. I am where I am today. And everything is a lesson. But yeah, I didn't get to the part about how Tanisha saved me yet. I'll share that on the next part because we up at 51 minutes and I need to get to work especially since I got to work on one screen today and I don't have my multiple screens. So I'll probably be sitting here in this spot till 10 o'clock at night trying to finish up when I need to get finished up for today after I sat on the phone for 2 hours with IT. So it is what it is. I got a job. I'm thankful. And I will talk to you guys probably maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I might get on tomorrow. Tomorrow gonna be a busy day because I think I'm gonna go ahead and drive to Atlanta tomorrow evening instead of waiting until Saturday. But that could change. So I'll talk to y'all later. I just put it like that. Y'all have a great evening. Bye bye.